You wake up, you scroll, you work, you eat, you sleep. Days blur together. Not bad, not great, just fine. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people aren't really living. They're enduring. They've mastered the art of getting by, not the courage of being alive. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." And that's the quiet tragedy of modern life. We're breathing, but we've stopped truly living. When you live in survival mode, your world shrinks. You move from choice to reaction, from vision to routine. Everything becomes about safety, not growth. You chase distractions, not because you're lazy, but because they numb the ache of a life. The Stoics saw this as a kind of spiritual sleepwalking. Seneca said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." We fear discomfort, yet we waste time as if it were infinite. We avoid pain, yet forget that pain is what shapes the soul. Survival mode gives you control, but it takes away depth. You stop taking risks, you stop asking questions, and one day, you realize, the cage was never outside of you. It was built, quietly, by your own comfort. So how do you escape? Not by adding more noise, but by returning to awareness. The Stoics believed life begins the moment you wake up to your own agency. You may not control events, but you always control your response. And in that space between what happens and how you react, your freedom lives. Living fully doesn't mean chasing pleasure. It means engaging deeply, even with pain, even with boredom, even with uncertainty. When Epictetus was enslaved, he didn't lose his peace, because he knew that no one could imprison his mind. To live fully is to realize that life is happening through you, not to you. Every experience, joy or suffering, is a tool for growth, a lesson in resilience, a reminder of your power to choose meaning over misery. The reason so many of us feel numb is because we've forgotten how to be present. We replay the past, we worry about the future, but we rarely inhabit the now, the only place life actually exists. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Confine yourself to the present." Think about that. Not to the next goal, not to the next version of you, but to this breath, this conversation, this sunrise. When you live fully, you start noticing again the way sunlight dances on your desk, the sound of rain on glass, the way silence feels after a long day. You start realizing how much beauty was always there. You were just too busy surviving to see it. If you want to stop surviving, begin here. Slow down. You can't feel life if you're sprinting through it. Face discomfort. Growth hides inside what you avoid. Simplify. Let go of things that drain your peace, possessions, people, even thoughts. Reflect daily. Ask, did I live today, or just exist? Be grateful, not for perfection, but for presence. The Stoics didn't promise happiness, they promised meaning. And meaning is what turns existence into life. One day, you'll realize that you weren't meant to simply make it through the week. You were meant to experience it. You'll stop surviving the moment you decide to participate, to breathe deeply, to risk pain, to love openly, to walk through fear instead of around it. Because life isn't waiting for you somewhere in the future. It's here, now, quietly asking one question. Will you finally choose to live? Don't just survive this life. Be awake for it.